Hi everybody, it's me again. I've got a short PowerPoint here about how your Wheelock chapters are organized. I'm going to upload this PowerPoint into the resources section under the PowerPoint folder, but I thought I would spend a few minutes here um, directing you through it and giving you an idea on how to best use your book and where to look for the information that you need. So let's see, let's get started here. The Wheelock chapters are arranged similarly, and they're broken into sections that occur in every single chapter. That's not necessarily true for the first two chapters, which don't contain a couple of these elements. So I've chosen chapter 3 to start with my example so that we can see how they all work when they're all together. The parts of the chapter that every Wheelock chapter has is a section entitled Grammatica. You can find that over here. That is just contains the new information that you're expected to acquire over the course of the chapter as you move through it. Those contain grammatical explanations. They contain paradigms. This is an example of a paradigm. It's a representative pattern that if you learn the pattern, you don't have to learn the pattern of every single word. You just need to know which pattern the word fits with. So we'll have paradigms, and then there are also explanations of terms and concepts. I'm going to turn the page and then come back so that I can show you a couple of these elements. Here's the next page, and here we have a continuation of some paradigms to learn, so that if you learn this pattern, you won't have to learn the pattern for all of the words in the vocabulary. And over here we have an explanation of the term apposition, and also a little short little section about word order, which is very helpful since Latin word order is different than that in English. Okay. After the Grammatica section, there's always a list of vocabulary items. In the vocabulary items, you need to learn the bold forms, as well as the meaning, and sometimes there are some idioms that you need to know. Let's turn over to there so you can see what that looks like. Here's the vocabula as well. There's always a little bit of a explanation and some information at the beginning, but here's the word list over here on the right-hand side of the page. By bold forms, I mean you can see there's ager, agree. You need to learn both of those in order to be able to use this noun, and you'll learn why when we start nouns, and you see my video that explains why you need to learn both these forms. The same thing is true down here with these long lists of verbs here. There's like habeo, habere, habui, habitum. All four of those forms you need to learn. Those are the principal parts of verbs, and if you don't learn those four principal parts, you won't be able to use the verb. And although we don't learn for several chapters what all of those principal parts are, it's best to learn them at the beginning. Otherwise, when we get to chapter 12, you have to go back and relearn every single verb from chapters 1 through 11. So learn them now, and you won't have to do so later. Anyway, for the vocabulary items, you learn the bold forms, and then you don't have to learn every single definition of a word, but you should learn a couple of the main ones. And that will be it for that. Okay, let's go back over here. The third section is called Lectio et Translatio, which is reading and translation. And there are exercises, what are called sententiae, which in Latin means sentence or opinions. And they're short quotes out of Latin authors. And then there's generally a short reading that tells a little bit of a story, or at least gives you a short paragraph to read rather than just sentence by sentence, isolated from each other. Now let's go over and take a look at that. Okay, down at the bottom here below the on this particular page below the vocabulary, there's the lectio et translatio. Here are the exercises. In odd chapters, we're going to be doing the odd exercises and sentences, and in even chapters, we're going to be doing the even ones. That is, there's a lot in there, but we're going to cut them about in half. And it's easy to remember odds with odds and evens with evens. So these are the sentences that sometimes you'll be asked to translate from English to Latin, and sometimes you'll be asked to read and then translate from Latin to English. Here's the short reading. It's always given in a little bit of a title, and then there are always vocabulary helps. When you're going through the lessons, you'll see that you're asked to do, for example, in this particular chapter, you're asked to do a couple of these English to Latin and the odd sententii antiqui, as well as the reading entitled "The Grass is Always Greener." That constitutes the amount that you're going to actually use for each chapter in actually being tested or parts of quizzes. There are 2 more sections which are just plain interesting, but we don't have time to make them a part of all of the lessons in order to finish the work that we need to be done. The first is has to do with Latin graffiti, scripta, and writing on the walls here. And these are really interesting because we learn quite a bit about Latin pronunciation as well as some of the daily lives of people from their graffiti. The second is over here with etymological meanings of words, which is extremely handy if you're going to go on and take the LSAT or MCATs or any of the other graduate exams that come after college. And then finally, this little section called Latina est gaudium et utilis, which is Latin for Latin's a lot of fun and it's useful as well. Those are short explanations of how Latin actually comes to be used in even modern English, and while those are very interesting, we're not going to be able to get to them as part of the lessons, but I encourage you to read them because it's the kind of thing that makes for great party conversation. Okay, that's it for the book. I'll let you get back to it, and I'll talk to you when I see you in the next video.